Accidental poisonings are a leading public health issue with more than 2 million incidents reported every single year. This week is Poison Prevention Week, so we are turning to U of L and Dr. Matthew Eisenstat for some tips on how to keep your family safe. Thanks so much for taking time with us today, Doctor.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So let's jump right in. What are some of the most common poisons that you see patients for?
I have to say, by far the most common overdoses that I see in patients is typically going to be over-the-counter medications. Things like acetaminophen, aspirin, Benadryl is another common one. That being said, it is very different between adults and children. Adults are much more likely to overdose on things like drugs that can be abused. Children are just curious and sometimes get into things that they shouldn't, and it's much more common that children are going to be exposed to hazardous chemicals that might be around the house.
Okay, interesting. So as we head into spring and summer, are there any poisons that we should be aware of, anything up on your radar?
Yeah, as we get into spring and summer, obviously it's getting warmer and people want to be outside in nature. It's always important to remember that Kentucky does have some venomous snakes as well as spiders. I don't want to be getting near any snakes, whether you know that they're venomous or not. It's probably a bad idea. If you're going to be around plants or mushrooms and you decide to potentially forage or try to eat something that's out in nature, I really need to be 100% sure that what you're eating is safe for human consumption.
Excellent tip. So what should you do if you think you do come into contact with some kind of poison?
So the first thing to do is to call the National Poison Center hotline. That number is 1-800-222-1222. It's a very easy number to remember. They have experts in poisonings available 24/7. It's all free. It's all confidential. And they can guide you as to what the next step should be. I always say, try to call the Poison Center before you call 911. Reason being that the Poison Center can actually decide whether or not what you may have ingested or taken or someone else has gotten into is actually dangerous. Actually, a lot of poisonings that we get through the Poison Center or the Poison Control Center are going to be harmless, and the Poison Center specialists can direct you that whether or not something is dangerous and whether or not you need to be seen by a physician.
Good to know. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Eisenstat, for taking the time with us today.
Of course. Thank you, guys.